The warning lights flashed red across the control room of the Void's Grace. Captain Deho gripped his chair as the ship shook violently. Sparks flew from broken panels. The smell of burning metal filled the air. "Engine core is failing," Hyjin shouted from her station. Her blue fingers moved fast across the control board. "I can't stop it." Deho looked at his crew. They were scared. He had seen that look before in 30 years of deep space travel. But this time felt different. "This time they might not make it home. How long do we have?" he asked. "Maybe 2 hours before complete shutdown," Hyjin said. Sweat dripped down her face. "The quantum fold drive is dead. We're stuck on basic engines." Navigator Junwoo spoke up from his corner. His old hands worked on the star charts. "There's a system nearby. Yellow star. One planet shows signs of life. What kind of life?" asked Suman. As the ship's doctor, she always worried about diseases from new worlds. "Basic scans show cities. Metal structures. They might have spaceflight," Junwoo said. Boram, the youngest crew member, looked up from her communication station. "Should I try to contact them?" Deho thought for a moment. In all his years exploring space, first contact with new species was always dangerous. Some aliens were friendly, others were not. But they had no choice. "Send a basic distress signal," he ordered. "Tell them we need help." The Void's Grace limped toward the blue-green planet. Through the windows, they could see it growing larger. It looked beautiful. White clouds covered parts of the surface. Large bodies of water reflected the light of the yellow sun. "I'm picking up radio signals," Boram said. "Lots of them. These people talk a lot. Can you understand any of it?" Deho asked. "No, but the patterns are complex. They might be more advanced than we thought." The ship shook again. More lights went out. Hyjin cursed in the old language. "We're losing attitude control. I can barely keep us stable." There, Junwoo pointed at the main screen. A large structure on the dark side of their moon. "It looks artificial." Deho squinted at the image. The structure was huge. Metal and glass caught the light from the distant sun. It looked like a space dock. A very big space dock. "These people have serious space technology," he said. "Captain, I'm getting a response to our distress call," Boram said. Her voice was excited. "They're speaking in mathematical sequences. Universal concepts. They're trying to communicate." The response was simple but clear. Mathematical formulas that any space-traveling species would know. Then came coordinates and what looked like approach vectors. "They want us to come to their moon base," Junwoo said. "It could be a trap," Sumin warned. "We don't know these people." Deho looked at his crew again. Hyjin was fighting to keep the engines running. Junwoo was too old to survive a crash landing. Boram and Sumin were young, with their whole lives ahead of them. He had to make a choice. "We don't have options," he said. "Set course for their coordinates." As they got closer to the moon base, more details became clear. The structure was even bigger than they thought. Ships moved in and out of docking bays. Some ships looked familiar, basic rocket designs. Others were more advanced. "Captain," Boram said, "they're sending guidance signals. They want to help us dock safely." The guidance was perfect. Step-by-step instructions that helped Hyjin control their dying ship. Someone on the moon base understood their problems and knew how to help. But the final approach went wrong. The engines died completely. The Void's Grace fell toward the moon base too fast. "Brace for impact," Deho shouted. The ship hit hard. Metal screamed against metal. The lights went out. Then there was silence. Deho woke up first. His head hurt, but he was alive. Around him, his crew was starting to move. They were all hurt but breathing. "Everyone alive?" he called out. "Yes, Captain," came 4 weak voices. Then they heard new sounds, metal cutting through metal, voices speaking in the strange language they had heard on the radio. But these voices sounded calm, organized, like people who knew what they were doing. Light appeared as a hole was cut in their ship's hull. A figure in a white suit climbed through. The suit had lights and tools attached to it. Behind the face mask, Deho could see features that looked almost familiar. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. But the skin was darker than his own blue skin. The figure held up empty hands. "A universal sign of peace." Then it pointed to itself and made sounds. "Kyungsu," a name. This person was telling them their name. More figures in white suits came through the hole. They moved carefully, checking each crew member. One figure had a red cross symbol on their suit. "Medical help." The medical person, Deho thought it might be female, knelt beside Sumin and began checking her injuries. The movements were gentle and professional. These people knew how to help injured aliens. How do they know our biology? Suman whispered. Daeho didn't know, but watching these strangers work, he felt something he hadn't expected. Hope. The first figure, Kyung-soo, was looking at their broken engine core. He made sounds that seemed like questions. Then he pulled out a device that scanned their equipment. His head movements suggested he understood their technology. More people arrived. They brought floating platforms to carry the injured crew. They brought tools to make the ship safe. They worked together like a team that had done this many times before. As they carefully moved Jun-woo onto a medical platform, the old navigator grabbed Daeho's arm. "Captain," he whispered, "these people, they were ready for us. They knew how to help aliens before we even arrived." Daeho looked around at the organized rescue operation. Jun-woo was right. These humans, he was sure they were called humans now, had prepared for this moment. They had prepared to help strangers from space. As they were carried away from their broken ship, Daeho wondered what kind of people spent their time getting ready to help others they had never met. He was about to find out. The medical center was nothing like Daeho had expected. The walls were white and clean. Soft music played in the background. Plants grew in corners, giving the room a peaceful feeling. But what surprised him most was how the equipment seemed designed for different body types. Dr. Jin-ae removed her helmet, showing a kind face with dark eyes. She smiled at Daeho as she ran a scanner over his chest. The device beeped softly and showed readings on a screen. "Your heart rate is high, but that's normal for stress," she said in perfect Villani language. Daeho stared at her. You speak our language?" "A little," Jin-ae said. "We've been studying radio signals from your part of space for many years. Dr. Taewon is much better at languages than I am." "But how did you know we would come here?" Jin-ae helped him sit up on the medical bed. "We didn't know you would come, but we hoped someone would someday, so we prepared." Across the room, Hyejin was talking with the human engineer Kyung-soo. Even without understanding their words, Daeho could see they were discussing technical details. Kyung-soo was showing Hyejin pictures of their ship's damage on a portable screen. Commander Yoonji entered the medical bay. She was tall and moved with authority, but her voice was gentle when she spoke. "Captain Daeho," she said. "I'm Commander Yoonji of the Space Rescue Corps. Are you feeling well enough to talk?" "Yes," Daeho said. "Thank you for saving us. We had nowhere else to go." "You came to the right place," Yoonji said. "We've been waiting a long time to meet our neighbors." "Neighbors?" "Other people who travel between the stars. We always knew we couldn't be alone in the universe." Dr. Taewon joined them, carrying a tablet computer. He was older than the others, with gray in his black hair. His eyes were bright with excitement. "Captain, I've been working with your communications officer, Boram. She's very smart. We're making good progress on language translation." Daeho looked over at Boram. She was sitting with a group of humans around a large table covered with papers and computer screens. They were all laughing at something. Boram looked happier than he had seen her in months. "She learns fast," Taewon continued. "But then so do we. We've been preparing for this conversation our whole lives." "You prepared to meet us specifically?" Suman asked from the next bed. "Not you specifically," Taewon said, "but we prepared to meet someone. We have protocols for first contact. Language specialists. Medical teams trained in xenobiology. Cultural exchange programs." Kyung-soo walked over from his discussion with Hyejin.
"Captain, I have good news and interesting news."
"Which do you want first?" "Good news, please. We can fix your ship. The damage is serious but not impossible to repair." Daeho felt relief wash over him. "And the interesting news?" Kyung-soo smiled. "Your engine design is very good, but we think we can make it better." "Much better." Hyejin joined the conversation. "Captain, these humans have ideas I never thought of. Their approach to quantum fold technology is completely different from ours." "Different how?" Daeho asked. "We focus on raw power," Hyejin explained. "They focus on efficiency and safety. They've been working on theoretical improvements for decades." "Theoretical?" "We've never built a working quantum fold drive," Kyung-soo admitted. "But we've done a lot of math and computer simulations. We think we know how to make yours work better." Commander Yoonji stepped forward. "Captain, there's something else you should know. This rescue operation, it's not unusual for us. We have teams stationed throughout our solar system, ready to help anyone who needs it." "Anyone?" Anyone, she confirmed. Human or alien, friend or stranger. If someone needs help, we help them. Dr. Jin A finished checking Sumin's injuries. You'll all be fine in a few days. But I want to keep you here for observation. Your biology is similar to ours, but different enough that I want to be careful. You've studied alien biology? Sumin asked. We've studied theoretical alien biology, Jin said. We've tried to imagine what space travelers might be like, what they might need, how to help them if they got hurt. Old navigator Junwoo spoke up from his bed. In all my years traveling space, I've never met people like you. Most species we encounter are suspicious of strangers. They want to know what we can give them before they help us. What do you want from us? Taeho asked directly. The humans looked at each other. Then Yoonji spoke. Friendship. Knowledge sharing. Maybe you can tell us about the places you've been. The people you've met. We can share what we know about space travel and technology. That's all? That's everything, Taewon said. We've been alone for so long. We've wondered if we were the only ones who think about ethics in space. The only ones who believe in helping others. Bo-Ram called out from her work table. Captain, you need to see this. Daeho walked over to the table. Bo-Ram and the human linguists had created translation programs for dozens of alien languages, not just Villani, but theoretical languages for species they had never met. They've been preparing to talk to people they didn't know existed, Bo-Ram said with wonder. Dr. Taewon showed them another screen. These are our first contact protocols. Step-by-step guides for meeting new species peacefully. Medical treatment procedures. Emergency translation methods. Cultural sensitivity training. You train people for jobs that might never exist? Taeho asked. We train people for jobs we hope will exist someday, Yoonji said. Kyung-soo pulled up engineering diagrams on his tablet. We've designed modular repair equipment that can work with different technologies. Universal docking systems. Emergency life support that can handle different atmospheric needs. Why? Heejin asked. Why spend so much time and resources on maybes? The humans were quiet for a moment. Then Jin-A spoke, because space is dangerous and lonely. If someone is lost out there, they shouldn't have to stay lost just because they're different from us. Every species we might meet is someone's family, Taewon added. Someone's children, parents, friends. They deserve help just because they're alive. Daeho felt something strange in his chest. These humans didn't want to conquer or trade or negotiate. They wanted to help because helping was the right thing to do. Commander Yoonji checked her watch. Captain, if you're feeling up to it, we'd like to show you more of our facility, and maybe answer some of your questions about Earth. As they prepared to leave the medical bay, Sumin caught Daeho's arm. Captain, she whispered, I think we found something more valuable than repairs. Daeho nodded, watching the humans work together to help his crew. Yes, he said. I think we did. The engineering workshop was massive. Daeho had never seen so many tools and machines in one place. Humans in work clothes moved between projects, building and fixing different types of spacecraft. Some ships looked human, but others were clearly designed for different species. We build ships for people we haven't met yet, explained Minho, a young engineer with oil stains on his hands. Different body sizes, different atmospheres, different needs. Hyejin stared at a half-built spacecraft with wonder. This one has a methane-based life support system. We think someone out there might breathe methane instead of oxygen, said Na Young, another engineer. So we practice building ships for them. Kyung-soo led them to where the Void's Grace sat on a repair platform. Human technicians worked alongside Villani crew members, sharing tools and ideas. The language barrier didn't seem to matter. Engineering was a universal language. Show them the scans, Hyejin, Kyung-soo said. Hyejin activated a holographic display of their engine system. The quantum fold drive appeared in the air, rotating slowly. Red areas showed damage, but yellow areas showed something else. The yellow parts aren't damaged, Kyung-soo explained. They're inefficient. Your engine works, but it wastes a lot of energy. Wasted energy? Hyejin asked. Minho pulled up another display. Look at your power flow patterns. The energy spirals through 17 different conversion stages. We think you only need 5. Impossible, Hyejin said. The quantum field equations require different equations. Na Young interrupted gently. We've been working on quantum mathematics for decades. Pure theory, because we couldn't build the hardware. But theory can still be right. Kyung-soo showed them computer simulations. If we're correct, we can make your engine 30% more efficient and 50% safer. Safer how? Asked Daeho. Fewer failure points, Minho explained. Your current design has many complex parts. Each part can break. Simpler design means fewer things can go wrong. Engineer Ne Young activated another hologram. Also, we can add backup systems. If one part fails, another part takes over automatically. He-Jin studied the human modifications with intense concentration. Your math is elegant, simple. Why didn't we think of this? Because you were focused on making it work, Kyung-soo said. We had time to think about making it work better. Over the following days, the repair became a collaboration. Humans and Villani worked together, combining practical experience with theoretical innovation. Daeho watched his engineer Hyejin teach human technicians about quantum field manipulation while learning their safety protocols. Captain, Junwoo called from another part of the workshop. You need to see this. Navigator Junwoo stood with a human star mapper named Seong Min. Between them, a three-dimensional star chart filled the air with thousands of points of light. They're giving us their navigation data, Junwoo said, his voice full of emotion. Complete star charts of this entire sector. Free of charge, Seong-min added. Space is dangerous enough without getting lost. Daeho looked at the detailed maps. This represents decades of exploration work. Centuries, Seong-min corrected. But that's why we made it. To share with other travelers. Most species charge high prices for navigation data, Junwoo said. Seong-min looked surprised. Charge money for star maps? But then poor travelers couldn't afford safe routes. That would be... He searched for words. Wrong. Meanwhile, Boram worked with Dr. Taewon on communication systems. They were installing something new in the Void's Grace. What is this device? Daeho asked. Emergency beacon, Boram explained excitedly. It connects to their interstellar communication network. Dr. Taewon showed him a galaxy map, covered with communication links. If you ever need help again anywhere in this part of space, you can send a signal. Someone will come. Someone? Humans, if we can reach you. But we're also sharing this network with other species we meet. Eventually, everyone will be connected. You're building a galaxy-wide rescue network? Daeho asked. We're trying to, Taewon said. Space is too big and dangerous for anyone to travel alone. Dr. Jine joined them, carrying a large container. Medical supplies, she announced. Compatible with Villani biology. Enough for 6 months of deep space travel. We can't pay for all this, Daeho said. Jine looked confused. Pay? Why would you pay for medical supplies? You might need them to stay alive. But you spent resources making these. We spent resources making things that save lives, Jine corrected. That's what resources are for. The repairs continued. Each day brought new surprises. The humans added improved life support systems. Better navigation computers, enhanced communication arrays, and stronger hull reinforcement. They worked as if the Void's Grace belonged to their own family. I don't understand, Sumin said during one of their evening meals. Why do you work so hard for strangers? The humans looked at each other. Then Kyung-soo spoke. You're not strangers anymore. You're friends who needed help. But we were strangers when we arrived. Everyone is a stranger until you meet them, Na-young said. That doesn't mean they don't deserve help. Commander Eunji visited the workshop to check on progress. How are the repairs coming? Better than repairs, Hyejin said. This is a complete upgrade. Our ship will be better than new. Good, Yunji said. That's the point. The point? We don't want to just fix your ship, Yunji explained. We want to make sure you never get stranded again. We want you to travel safely and come back to visit us. Minho activated the main display showing their progress. New engine design, complete. Safety systems installed. Navigation upgrade finished. Communication network connected. Emergency supplies loaded. How long would these improvements have taken your own engineers? Daeho asked. Decades, Hyejin admitted. Maybe centuries. We would have needed to discover the math first. But working together, Kyung-soo said, we did it in weeks. Navigator Junwoo studied the star charts with tears in his eyes. In my younger days, I dreamed of meeting people like you. People who explore space to help others instead of conquering them. We dreamed of meeting people like you too, Seong-min said. People who travel between stars and visit strange worlds. We wanted to learn from you. What have you learned? Daeho asked. That the universe is bigger and more wonderful than we imagined, Dr. Taewon said. that there are good people everywhere, not just on Earth. As the Void's Grace neared completion of its upgrades, Dae-ho realized something profound had happened. They had come seeking repairs for their ship. Instead, they had found repairs for their faith in other species. "Captain," Yejin called out, "we're ready for engine tests." Dae-ho looked at his ship. It gleamed with new equipment and improvements. But more than that, it represented something new, proof that different species could work together to create something better than either could build alone. "Begin the tests," he ordered. The engine hummed to life with a sound smoother and quieter than ever before. All readings showed green. Perfect efficiency, maximum safety, ready for the long journey home. But first, they had something important to do. The celebration hall was decorated with flowers from Earth and glowing crystals that the humans had made to look like Volani art. Hundreds of humans filled the room, all wanting to meet the first aliens they had ever seen, but it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt like a family reunion. "Welcome to Earth's first contact celebration," announced Commander Yoonji from a small stage. "We've been planning this party for 50 years, waiting for the right guests to arrive." Dae-ho looked around in amazement. "You've been planning a party for 50 years? Dr. Taewon laughed. "We've been planning parties for first contact since we first looked at the stars. Different committees, different decades, but always the same hope. Someday we'd have neighbors to celebrate with." Children ran between the adults, staring at the Volani crew with wide eyes. But they weren't afraid. They were excited. One small girl tugged on Sumin's clothing. "Are you really from space?" the child asked. "Yes," Sumin said gently. "Very far from here. Do you have children on your planet?" "Yes, we do." The little girl smiled. "Mommy said space people might have kids too." She was right. An elderly human approached Junwoo. "I'm Professor Onsuk," she said. "I've studied theoretical alien cultures for 40 years. I never thought I'd meet real space travelers before I died." "What did you learn in your studies?" Junwoo asked. "That intelligent species probably develop similar values," Professor Onsuk said. "Love for family, curiosity about the universe, desire to help others. Was I right?" Junwoo nodded. "You were very right." Boram found herself surrounded by young humans her age. They were asking dozens of questions about space travel, alien planets, and what it was like to live on a spaceship. "Don't you get lonely out there?" asked a human student named Wu Jin. "Sometimes," Boram admitted. "Space is very big and empty." "But now you know we're here," said another student so young. "You'll never have to feel completely alone again." Dr. Genie showed the Volani crew through different areas of the celebration. Each area represented something humans had prepared for alien visitors. "This is our language lab," she explained. "We have theoretical translation systems for 300 different communication methods." 300? Ejin asked. "Sound-based languages like yours and ours, light-based communication, chemical signals, mathematical concepts, even music-based languages." They stopped at a display of food synthesizers. "We can create food compatible with different biologies," explained a nutrition scientist named Dong Hyun. "Oxygen breathers, methane breathers, silicon-based life, energy beings. We've tried to imagine everything." "Energy beings?" Dae-ho asked. "Theoretical," Dong Hyun admitted. "But if they exist and visit Earth, we want to be able to feed them." In another area, medical teams demonstrated equipment designed for alien physiology. Dr. Jinne showed them healing devices that could adjust for different body chemistries. "We've prepared for visitors with different numbers of hearts, different blood types, different healing rates," she said. "The equipment learns about your biology and adapts." "How long did it take to develop all this?" Sumin asked. "Generations," Jinne said. "My grandmother worked on the first alien medical protocols. My mother improved them. I've added new techniques. My daughter is studying xenobiology to continue the work." "Your whole family?" "Thousands of families. Millions of people. Everyone contributed something to preparing for this day." They visited the communication center, where volunteers monitored space for signals from other worlds. The room was filled with people wearing headphones, listening to radio telescopes and deep space sensors. "They work in shifts, 24 hours a day," Dr. Taewon explained, "listening for any sign that someone out there needs help or wants to make contact." "For how long?" Boram asked. "Since we first developed radio technology, over a century of constant listening." A volunteer named Byung-ho looked up from his equipment. "We heard your distress signal 6 hours before you arrived in our system. We were already preparing rescue teams, but you didn't know who we were." "Didn't matter," Byung-ho said. "Someone needed help. That was enough." The most surprising area was the gift preparation center. Humans had been making welcome gifts for potential alien visitors for decades. Thousands of packages sat ready, each designed for different types of beings. "Art from Earth," explained the center coordinator, Young Min. "Music, books, pictures, small machines, food samples, things that show who we are and how we live." "You made gifts for people who might never come?" Daeho asked. "We made gifts for people we hoped would come," Young Min corrected. "Hope is never wasted." As the evening continued, the Villani crew learned more about human preparation for first contact. They had ethics committees that studied how to interact with aliens fairly. They had cultural preservation programs to protect alien traditions. They had legal frameworks for interspecies cooperation. "We wanted to make sure," Professor Ansuk explained, "that when we finally met other intelligent species, we would treat them with respect and kindness. Most species we've encountered focus on what they can gain from first contact," Junwoo observed. "What do you gain?" asked a human philosopher named Ye-jin. "Knowledge. Trade opportunities. Sometimes territory or resources." Ye-jin looked sad. "That sounds lonely." "What about friendship? What about learning how to be better people?" Commander Unji joined their conversation. "We've always believed that meeting other intelligent species would teach us about ourselves, about what it means to be alive and aware in this universe." "And has it?" Sumin asked. "Yes," Yunji said, looking at the mixed groups of humans and Villani talking and laughing together. "It's taught us that kindness is universal, that curiosity exists everywhere, that the universe is much less lonely than we thought." Near the end of the celebration, a group of human children presented the Villani crew with a special gift, a collection of drawings showing Earth and its people. Simple pictures made with crayons and markers, but each one showed Earth's children imagining friendship with beings from other worlds. "We drew these for you," said the little girl who had talked to Sumin earlier, "so you can remember us when you go home." Haijin knelt down to the child's level. "What's your name?" "Haewon." "Haewon, I will keep your drawing forever, and when I have children of my own, I will tell them about the human child who welcomed me to her world." As the celebration wound down, Daeho found himself in conversation with a group of human leaders, scientists, engineers, philosophers, and artists. "Captain," said Dr. Taewon, "we have a request to make." "What kind of request?" "We'd like to propose a formal cultural exchange program. Humans visiting your worlds, Villani visiting ours, sharing knowledge, art, music, ideas. And we'd like to create an interstellar welcome network," added Commander Yunji. "A communication system that spans the galaxy, helping any travelers who get into trouble." "You want to do this for everyone?" Daeho asked. "Everyone," confirmed Professor Ansuk. "Every species we meet. The universe is too big and beautiful for anyone to explore it alone." As Daeho looked around the celebration, humans and Villani, talking together as if they had been friends for years, he realized something profound. His crew had come to Earth seeking repairs for their ship, but they had found something far more valuable. Proof that the universe contained species capable of true generosity. "We accept your proposals," he said, "and we have our own proposal to make." "What's that?" asked Yunji. "We'd like to become Earth's first ambassadors to the galaxy, to tell other species what we've learned here, that humans are friends worth meeting." The humans looked at each other with expressions of joy and wonder. "We would be honored," Dr. Taewon said. As the evening ended, Daeho realized that tomorrow they would leave Earth, but they would never really leave. Part of Earth would travel with them forever, and part of them would always remain here with their new friends among the stars. The Void's Grace sat in the docking bay, looking nothing like the broken ship that had crashed weeks earlier. Its hull gleamed with new armor plating. Advanced sensors dotted its surface. The quantum fold drive hummed with quiet efficiency that would have been impossible before. "Final systems check complete," Hyojin reported from her engineering station. "All readings are perfect. Better than perfect." Daeho walked through his transformed ship, touching new equipment and improved systems. Every corridor had been upgraded. Every room had been made safer and more comfortable. The humans had thought of details the Volani crew never would have considered. Emergency medical bay with alien-compatible supplies, Dr. Janae had explained during the final tour. Universal translation computer with updates from our language database. Improved navigation system with star charts for the entire local galaxy sector, but the most important addition was invisible, the emergency beacon that would connect them to Earth's growing interstellar communication network. Test the beacon one more time, Deho ordered. Boram activated the system. Within seconds, responses came from multiple human outposts throughout the solar system. Luna Base acknowledging. Mars Station acknowledging. Deep Space Monitor Station 7 acknowledging. All networks operational, Captain. The docking bay filled with humans who had come to see them off. Engineers who had worked on the ship. Medical staff who had healed their injuries. Linguists who had learned their language. Children who had drawn pictures for them. Commander Yunji stepped forward with a final gift. A small device that fit in Daiho's palm. What is this? Emergency transmitter, she explained. If you ever need help anywhere in the galaxy, activate this device. It will send your location to every human ship and base. Someone will come for you, even if we're very far away, especially if you're very far away. That's when you need help most. Dr. Taiwan presented them with copies of Earth's complete cultural database. Music, art, literature, science, philosophy. Everything we think defines humanity. Share it with anyone who's interested. And this, added Professor Ansuk, giving them a collection of communication protocols, will help you establish peaceful first contact with species you meet. Methods we've developed for approaching strangers safely, Kyung-soo and his engineering team had one last surprise. A complete technical manual for all the improvements they had made to the ship. Share this with your people, he said. Help them upgrade their ships too. Safer travel for everyone. But this represents years of your research, Hyojin protested. That's why we want to share it, Minho said. Research is only valuable if it helps people. As the Volani crew prepared for departure, each human they had worked with came forward with personal gifts. Small things, books, music recordings, photographs of Earth, samples of human art. But each gift carried the same message. Remember us, and know that you have friends here. The little girl Haewon ran up to Sumin with a final drawing. I made this last night, she said. It's your ship flying home to tell everyone about Earth. Sumin knelt down and hugged the child gently. Haewon, I promise that children on my world will hear about the wonderful human girl who made them a picture. Navigator Jun Woo stood with star mapper Seong Min at the ship's entrance. In 60 years of space travel, the old Volani said, I never found a port where strangers were treated like family. Earth will always be your port, Seong Min replied. Come back anytime. Bring friends. As they boarded their ship, Daeho turned for one last look at the humans who had gathered to see them off. Hundreds of faces, engineers, doctors, scientists, artists, children, elders, people who had spent their time and resources helping strangers from space. Captain, Boram called from her station. Incoming message from Earth Control. Commander Yunji's voice filled the ship. This is Earth Control to Void's Grace. You came to us as strangers needing help. You leave as friends carrying our hopes with you. Travel safely and remember, you're never alone in the dark. Earth Control, this is Captain Daeho. Thank you for saving our ship. Thank you for saving our faith in the universe. We will carry your message to the stars. The Void's Grace lifted off smoothly, its new engines providing power the Volani had never experienced before. As they cleared Earth's atmosphere, they could see the entire human solar system. Space stations, mining operations, exploration vessels, communication arrays. All of it built with the hope of meeting and helping other species. Quantum full drive ready, Hyojin reported. New efficiency levels are incredible. This journey home will take half the time it took to get here. Before we jump, Daeho said, activate the emergency beacon. Let's test the network. Boram pressed the activation switch. Within moments, their communication system filled with responses from across human space. Luna Base to Void's Grace. Safe travels. Friends. Mars Station to Void's Grace, the door is always open. Deep Space Monitor 7 to Void's Grace, we're listening for you out there. Jupiter Research. Platform to Void's Grace, take care of yourselves. Dozens of messages from human outposts all wishing them well, all promising help if needed. Jump in 3, 2, 1. The void's grace folded space around itself and leaped toward home. But this time the journey felt different. They were no longer alone in the universe. They carried with them proof that the galaxy contained people capable of extraordinary kindness. "Captain," Junwoo said as they traveled through folded space, "what will we tell the council when we get home?" "The truth," Daeho replied. "That we found a species that explores space not to conquer, but to help. That we found people who prepare for decades to welcome strangers. That we found the neighbors we always hoped existed but were afraid to believe in. They'll want to know about human technology," Hyejin said. "We'll share everything. The engineering improvements, the safety systems, the communication networks. But most importantly, we'll share their approach. Cooperation instead of competition." "What about the cultural exchange program?" Boram asked. "We'll recommend it to the council immediately," Daeho said. "Other Villani need to meet humans. And humans need to meet more of us." Dr. Sumin looked at the gifts they carried. "Captain, I think we should do more than just report to the council. We should visit other species we know. Tell them what we've learned. You want to become ambassadors for humanity? I want to become ambassadors for the idea that space travel can be about friendship instead of just exploration or profit." As they traveled toward home, the crew of the Void's Grace began planning their new mission. They would tell the galaxy about Earth, the world that prepared for decades to help strangers, the people who shared their knowledge freely, the species that believed the universe was better when everyone worked together. "Incoming message," Boram announced. "It's from Earth." Commander Yunji's voice reached across the vast distance. "Void's Grace, this is Earth Control with a final message. Your emergency beacon is now active on our network. Wherever you go, whatever you do, remember, you have friends here. And tell anyone you meet that Earth welcomes all peaceful travelers." Captain Daeho smiled as he looked at his upgraded ship and his crew, busy planning ways to spread humanity's message of cooperation throughout the galaxy. They had come to Earth seeking repairs for their ship. What they found was something that repaired their understanding of what intelligent species could be. Not competitors fighting over resources, but neighbors helping each other explore the infinite wonders of the universe. The emergency beacon pulsed gently, sending its signal across space. "Safe harbor available. Earth coordinates attached. All species welcome." For the first time in his career exploring space, Captain Daeho felt truly hopeful about what they might find among the stars. If humans could exist, if such kindness was possible, then maybe the universe held more friends than enemies. Maybe the galaxy was about to become a much less lonely place. The Void's Grace continued its journey home, carrying the most important cargo any exploration ship had ever transported. Proof that strangers could become family, and that the universe was vast enough for everyone to explore together.